Women Who Try Too Hard by Kevin Leman explores the world of women pleasers. He explains that there are certain characteristics to pleasers. One is that women learned to be pleasers when they were little girls. The next one is pleasers often come from unhappy homes in which their fathers gave them very little attention, support, or love. The third characteristic is pleasers are willing to settle for small favors. The fourth one is low self esteem. The fifth one is just trying to keep everyone happy. And the last one is feeling inferior to men, or at least having a strong need to be good girls, so men will approve of them. There are four types of pleasers that interact with a controller's world, or a male controller. They are the suffering pleaser, the depressed pleaser, the played out or exhaustive pleaser, and the mildly discouraged pleaser. Included in the chapter is a quiz on where you fit in the hierarchy of the pleasers and Kevin Leman's pyramid of pleasers. The next chapter is all about the little girl in you. We all have that inner child that reminds us of our past. It plays a crucial role in our development as pleasers. There's just way too much material in this book or in this chapter for me to choose things from this chapter to talk about. The next chapter focuses on why a pleaser can be born anytime. Kevin Leman explains how birth order can affect your willingness to be a pleaser. He explains why only children or firstborn children run such a straight and narrow path. Second-born pleasers keep things running smooth, and finally, a last-born's pleasing ways could be manipulative. The next chapter discusses how low self-esteem affects the pleaser's life, and the chapter after that is how they are guilt gatherers of life. I know from experience that this was me years ago. I know how we who struggle with self-esteem look to make others happy to fill that void of, if I can make others happy, I will find fulfillment. It's just not true. Fulfillment comes from not needing to please others anymore. Finding contentment in you and you alone. Self-esteem needs to be strong in order to accomplish this. Kevin explains that the following makes a pleaser gather guilt. 1. They feel bad about past mistakes. 2. They live according to the expectations of others. 3. Living by someone else's rules naturally leads pleasers to take responsibility and blame for most of what goes wrong. And 4th, guilt gatherers would rather suffer than change. The next chapter talks about pleasers, perfectionism, and the Avis complex. He explains perfectionists versus pursuers of excellence. The next chapters talk about pleasers and controllers being drawn to each other and how to know a controller up close and personal. Life is tough for a pleaser that seeks out a controller. Being prepared for that is the best way to avoid the mistakes altogether. We as women and as pleasers can overcome a lot of obstacles by reading this book. I used to be a pleaser until the freeing moment that I realized I will never please everyone, and that even if I tried, not everyone would be willing to give back what I put in. It's a choice that you will have to make at some point in your life in order to establish who you are and who you're willing to be for others. It doesn't happen overnight, but with resources like this one, we can't go wrong. So this week, ladies, I urge you to take into account if you are a pleaser and whether a book like this will be worth looking into. Or maybe someone you know struggles with these issues and would like material that would enlighten them on why they are the way that they are and what changes they can make to improve their need to please.